She loves this. I think she feels like she's in the Titanic. What I'm doing now is as far opposite as the New York art world as you can get. Chicken rescue. That's Leo, Miracle, Duke. There you go. Pasha, and there's Aladdin. There you go, you're almost there. Yay! Okay. Hi, RBG. That's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The cruelty in the dairy and the egg industry is far worse than what animals who are used for meat go through. Far worse. Because these animals are kept alive just as items of production. So for all extensive purposes, I would say chickens are the most abused land animal on earth. My name is Rebecca Moore, and I'm from New York City, born and raised, and we run the Institute for Animal Happiness here. Good morning, Schmoopy. I love you. She has to be hand-fed because she has this, her beak is deformed, which is really common. Okay, sweetheart. There's a lot of deformities with chickens who are overbred. Hold on. I know, sweetie. There you go. This is like a whole process where we sit and hand feed her. Okay. Birds, basically how they come here is we just get tons of DMs and calls, emails to the website. But it's a lot of individuals and Good Samaritans. Sometimes it's the farmer themselves. Disabled birds, disabled chickens really have a hard time finding a place to go. Nobody wants to do this. And they're just not deemed worthy of rescue. So I have to explain the obvious and go, 75 billion of these birds suffer every year. I'd been an animal rights activist since I was 10. I was raised in like sort of the very nitty-gritty New York avant-garde. The East Village was, a neighborhood without a lot of rules, and it was kind of where all the rebellious figures and outcasts and iconoclasts like collected. It was a real community neighborhood. I lived with Jeff in the early 1990s for 3 beautiful years, and they were magical. He knew I was vegetarian at the time, but I didn't hit him over the head with it. I just, at the top of our moving in together, I just was like, this is a household where we don't harm animals. Jeff loved animals. It wasn't reflected in his lifestyle as far as what he ate or wore or whatever, but his connection to animals was like so undeniable. I had a rescued, very feral cat named Spinach. He loved Spinach, even though Spinach was this cat that really loved no one. Like, he really just wanted to be left alone. I lived respecting Spinach's autonomy, but Jeff would not give up. This cat had to love him. So the interesting thing is, as Jeff was pulling away for his career, my father died. And by then, I was feeling sort of behind, like this ship is sailing. Literally, I said goodbye to this huge tour bus and waved to them. And I spent the next few years sort of just continuing to do art stuff in New York City, but really feeling like my heart was broken by life. 24 hours before Jeff passed, we had a last conversation. And it was the most beautiful, 2 people just healing. And then out of nowhere, he just said, I'm stopping eating animals. And I was like, okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. And he said, I think I'm going to get a job in the zoo. He'd been going to the Memphis Zoo, and he liked the Siberian tigers. He mentioned the butterfly exhibit. And I was so moved. But we didn't talk more about that because I assumed we'd be having more conversations. 24 hours later, he was missing. And I think we all hoped he was still alive. And then he was found And that was a huge moment where everything went dark. And there was a period of trauma around death. My dad was 91, Jeff was 97, John was 2008, and Julie was like 2011. The world that, as I understood it, had to change, and it was through this lens of loss. But that's often what does it, you know? There's people in war-torn countries, and you go, how do they, you know, survive the loss? One of the key ways we heal is by going to care for each other. I started working at this animal sanctuary, farm animal rescue, that turned out to be highly abusive. So then I started questioning, what is this about the way we treat other animals, let alone other humans? I found myself bringing home the disabled chickens just because they weren't getting care. The first one was a disabled rooster named Nellie. Nellie had 2 crippled feet. He couldn't stand on hard surfaces. So I started bringing him to my desk, and I put a cat bed on my desk. And he would sit on my desk, and I'd never gotten to know a chicken. I was a New York City kid, so I didn't know they liked to be cuddled. I didn't know how they liked to be held. I didn't know what birds were like. I didn't know avian biology. But I said, okay, you know, you're coming home with me. And that was the beginning of an adventure. The next rescue I worked at, I brought home Larry. Nellie needs a friend, I'm bringing you home. I brought home Blanche, who had been found in New Jersey. So it was literally like one bird at a time. It wasn't an intention. I didn't go, I'm going to start rescuing chickens. It was just like, you start with one, they have a need, and you respond to it. It was really helping me heal. Like I couldn't have had more pain in me at that time. The Institute started to form in my mind, and I just said, forget working at these places.
Hey, puppies, hold on. I know. I've got to get a bunch of these, you'll see why. This is Janie, and she can also eat in her little wheelchair. This is Moonbeam, and this is Busy. All right, here we go. She will poop on me, just warning you. She can't. Yes, Busy. So if I hold her this way, she can like preen herself. There you go. She mostly will only eat if we hold her, so. Okay, hold on. Maybe she wants to preen again. Oh, you want to go back there?
To practice non-human liberation in a world that also treats humans as if they don't deserve equality and liberation and freedom and humanity, is like, you have to do it all. It has to be both. What we are trying to show is a care system where everyone in this little ecosystem is cared about, and that's the only reason it will work. The way it's structured here is very different from every other animal rescue I worked at. I'm a huge advocate for micro-sanctuaries. An institute is a small organization. We're not trying to be huge. We're not trying to be Jane Goodall Foundation, you know. It's a lot of cleaning every day.
Baby girl. We have to swim them in a certain order. Do a dive. Water. Because she can't scratch her eye with her foot like other ducks can, I have to clean her eyes for her. Yeah.
I believe the best care is small, community focused. Happy Cart started out as, I run an animal rescue. I have an interest in reducing harm done to non-humans. Getting people to taste the food and have the education right nearby. Our idea was, okay, we'll go out in the community. We'll go to them.
Okay, all right. Did you see it's some cream?
And we were offering these small samples of vegan food and that people could just take to go. But then by the time we got to the facility of Old Dutch Church, It's like the need grew, and then we started having like 100 people show up. We found ourselves with a real professional like Chef Gabby, and we got a grant so we could make the portions bigger and really consider the nutritional aspects of each food offering. And it's become a community conversation. So you start seeing a world outside of capitalism. You start seeing another world where, hey, we all sustain each other because of this mutual aid, mutual support. And veganism is going to be centered to these conversations too. Doing this work helped me understand that I can be strong for someone else. I just didn't know that bringing home one chicken was going to be the catalyst.